Hi everybody, thanks for coming back. Let's go right to Vero Beach yard sale news. Have you ever heard of a thing called a chore coat? Well, you can get one and make a reasonable offer or trade something for a chore coat. The only issue with this chore coat is that it's stained, and the owner says it's possible that if you wash it a few times you'll be able to get it straightened out. So anyway, something for you to consider. Need a car? Here's one, and it's only got one little problem, namely no motor. No motor. But otherwise, it's in great condition. Now, do not bother offering $500. This guy wants $1,500 for this car. He's already gotten an offer of $1,100 from a junkyard. My own view, take the offer. Take the junkyard offer. But anyway, if you're looking for a car that doesn't have a motor, you got one. This week, the recap is prepared to jump into one of the great debates of our times. The courtesy flush. What is it? And is it a good idea or a bad idea? There are arguments on both sides of that issue. The normal definition of a courtesy flush is one that's performed post-dump and pre-wipe. The idea behind it is quite simple. First, you're going to reduce the amount of stink that you generate when you take a dump, and that in a public bathroom, you're showing some mercy to the guys in the adjoining stalls. Second, the courtesy flush allows you more time to spend in the bathroom. You can spend it reading, meditating, texting, studying, whatever it is that you choose to do. And the third thing in favor of it is that stink from poop is not some kind of a vapor, a gas. It's actually particulates, namely little pieces of dump that are floating in the air. And of course, if you're sitting there and you're breathing that in, you're ingesting poop. Now, the arguments against it are several. One of them is that you're doubling the amount of water consumption that's going on because you're essentially flushing twice. The second thing is that it contributes to hemorrhoids the more time that you spend sitting on the bowl. And finally, it really, in a social sense, impedes productivity. The additional time that you spend on that bowl, you could be spending working, studying, doing other things that are more productive. Well, where does the recap stand on this? Is the courtesy flush a good idea or a bad idea? Well, we're going to be sort of on both sides of this issue. First, I think in a public setting, a restroom on I-95, a restroom, a men's room in your school, what you're doing is you're having some mercy with the courtesy flush in this definition on the guy in the adjoining stall. You're just cutting down on the amount of stink that you are generating. Now, we also think, however, that there's a better definition of a courtesy flush, and that is what I would call a secondary flush. Namely, after you're done, you stand up, you wait for the bowl to fill, and you flush again. The idea behind this is that you're going to leave the bowl as clean as possible. And everybody likes to go into a bathroom and to take a dump and seeing, crystal clear water down there, snow white porcelain. That's a courtesy to the next guy coming in. And I think it's particularly appropriate in your own home or in your buddy's home. So we're sort of on both sides of this issue, sort of like a two-handed economist. But I hope that these concepts give you something to think about as you clarify your own thinking on whether a courtesy flush is appropriate in your situation or not. Well, that's what we think. Let's go right to the sports desk. Up until 1954, it was thought that the human limit in terms of speed He practiced for 5 years to achieve this feat, and certainly he gets a weekly recap round of applause for doing this. If you're interested, the record for the loudest female burp is 109 decibels that was set by a woman named Elisa Cagnoni in 2009. So, Neville, congratulations, you're going great. Now, also from the sports desk, as you know, this weekend is the most important football game of the season, Army-Navy. Army is a 7.5-point favorite. My own view is that they could double that line. Army could be a 15-point favorite. They've got great quarterbacks, great running backs, but it's a great game to watch, and it's a rivalry game, so you can't tell. Navy could get right up to it and surprise the heck out of Army in the game. Also, the other thing about this game, both schools have paid particular attention to the uniforms that they're wearing. Now, Navy's uniform, and they're going to have a great video for it. Navy's uniform has a kind of an aircraft theme for it. Army's, on the other hand, has a 9/11 theme. And I'm sure that Army will have a video on that. I've seen the Navy one. I haven't seen the Army one. But, you know, it's part of, the uniforms are going to be part of the context, the environment for this game. It's a great game. It's Saturday afternoon. Do absolutely check it out. Now, I was going to close this episode of the recap out with a video showing Christmas lights in Morristown. Morristown does a great job. The problem is it's been so cold. I haven't really been willing to get out there and do it. But maybe between now and the time that we come back down to Florida, I'll be able to get it. And if I do, I'll put it right up here. Now, otherwise, this weekend, the big thing is Alex has a birthday party on Saturday. And we're going to have our little Christmas party and contest on Sunday. So tune in next week and you'll get the results of that, and maybe you'll get to see some Morristown lights. In all events, this is the recap. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.